Hello. People move abroad for a variety of different reasons. Today I'm going to talk about my 3 primary motivators for moving to France. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Patricia Brooks. I'm an American living in the south of France since 2018. And on this channel, I share parts of my life here in France. I talk about how to move abroad and how to find the confidence and courage to live the kind of life that you know you were meant to. And today I'm talking about motivations for moving abroad. Now, my motivations, I think, might be slightly different from many people's motivations for moving abroad. A lot of times people will want to move abroad because of politics, or because the medical care may be better in another country, or the cost of living might be more affordable. And those are valid reasons. But my reasons were different. And the first one has to do with challenge, seeking challenge. Now, this might be unusual. Some people might see this as unusual. Why would you make life harder for yourself? But in seeking out challenge, I can achieve. And achievement is a high core value for me, right? It puts me in a position to continually achieve different things. Now, in the United States, I was finding ways to do this. In 2015, I decided to go to coach training. I went to IPEC. And that was a challenging program. I made it through. Before I finished, I had my first paying clients. That felt really good. At the end of 2016, I had finished writing my first book called Growing Bold. And I self-published it. I'd never done anything like that before. That was hard. That was a challenge. I did it. That felt good. And on the heels of that, I organized my book launch party, and that was the best feeling ever. So I was able to find challenges in the US. The problem was that even when I found challenges that helped me to scratch the achievement core value, they weren't long lasting. I would be let down very soon after, and I found myself seeking another challenge after another challenge. And I wanted something that would make my life just a little more challenging, that would help me to just go down that path as a normal course of life. And when I got the idea of living in a French-speaking country, first Canada and then France, I thought, yeah, Patricia, if you're living in a country that speaks a completely different language from the one that you grew up speaking, you're going to find challenges galore. Maybe this is for you. And so that was my primary motivation, one of my primary motivations. So the second one, which is tied very, very closely to seeking challenge, has to do with personal growth and development. There's another core value that is near and dear to my heart. Without it, I feel like I'm shriveling up. And they are very similar, but they are different. The seeking out challenge is about the achievement itself. It is self-contained, where the self-development and personal growth is an offshoot of that. And it helps me to become a different person over the course of time. Okay? So when I moved here back in 2018, a 51-year-old woman who wasn't really sure of herself or this path, I was a very different person from the woman I am today. Case in point, 2 weeks after I landed, I was in my apartment and I was petrified that I had made a huge mistake in quitting a good paying job and taking a sabbatical on living off of savings. That didn't feel good. And there was this tug of war inside of me that didn't feel good, right? That made me feel like, ooh, what have I done? Was this such a good idea? Fast forward to today, I am a quite confident person living in a foreign country. More things are normal for me. I have my routine, but even still, with that, 7 years later, there are still challenges that I face. And so it was a good move to a foreign country, since challenge was vital for me. And so was reinvention, or personal growth and development. All right. So one of the ways that I see how different I am is back in 2012, I read a book called Life Was Not Meant to Be a Struggle by Stuart Wilde, and he defined struggle as effort laced with negative emotions. And over the course of most of my life, that is how I lived my life. Struggling, striving. It felt hard. And a lot of times I felt an anxiety, an undercurrent of an anxiety under that, a nervousness. Now, a part of that, I think, was inherited from my grandmother, who was a very nervous person. And the reason I say it's inherited was because when I was a baby, my mom would feed me, and she'd hold me, and she'd burp me, and maybe she'd hand me off to a family friend or a sister or a brother-in-law. And I was fine when I was in her arms. Even if she gave me to my dad, I was fine. I didn't have any tummy problems. But as soon as she handed me off to my aunt or my uncle or a family friend, I would spit up on them without fail. And I think that speaks to the nervousness that is kind of inherent in who I am. Well, anyway, I read this book, and the title of it really struck me. I'm like, oh, I wish I could live that way. Life was not meant to be a struggle. That feels so good. That was back in 2012. And so I adopted that as my motto, a creed I wanted to live my life by. And I did certain things to try to, make that be true. And I made some progress while I was in the US. But now, after 7 years of living in France, after the challenges I've faced and continue to face, I feel like I am living this motto. And I've gotten some compliments from some people that I've spoken to on discovery calls who said, I want to move abroad and I'd like your support. And the main reason that I chose you to speak to was because of your energy. It's so calming. And to me, that's like, that's it. That's it. And so personal development and growth is around that identity, or shifting, reinventing yourself. And I feel like France has done that for me. And that was a primary motivator. All right. Is any of this resonating with you? If so, give this video a thumbs up. Now, the third motivator for me to move to France had to do with what the country offered itself. Now, before 2015, I had not set my sights on France. It wasn't really on my radar. But what France offers is this beautiful French language. When I went to Quebec City, Canada in 2014 and got the bug to speak French fluently and maybe live in a French-speaking country, I wanted to sound like French people when they spoke, because what was coming out of their mouths was so beautiful. And so I was like, ooh, if I could do that. So beauty is another one of my key core values. I didn't realize it was way back in the day, but I know it now. And so speaking the French language and having beauty all around me was another motivator, the third main motivator for me to move to France. Now, what's interesting is that I find myself working with people who were just like me, had very similar motivators. And my signature program, which is called the Carefree Expat Incubator Program, is for single women who want to start the next chapters of their lives living and thriving in a foreign country so that they can seek out challenge, so that they can grow personally and reinvent themselves. They're looking to not necessarily take the job that they have and find a company that will sponsor them. They're looking to either retire early. They're looking to create a business or an entrepreneurship that really speaks to them in this season of their lives, right? And, they decide to work with me because they like what I have to offer. The Carefree Expat Incubator Program is a program that is both group coaching and an online curriculum all in one. It's for single women who are 6 months to 2 years out from their move abroad. And probably 80% of the women in my program want to move to France because I'm here, but I have had success with women moving to Portugal and Germany. And yes, I have clients who are now living in France, and it feels amazing. And what they were looking for was the support of a like-minded community of women. And that's what the group coaching offers. I also have a vibrant online community where they can connect with one another and share experiences and ask questions. And each year I have an in-person summit that is held in a different location each time. The very first one was 2 years ago, and that was in Marseille, France. And I'll tell you what, while we can connect at a certain degree on Zoom or on our online community, there is nothing like face-to-face contacts to go deeper. And that's what we do. So Marseille was the first one. Valencia, Spain was the second one. And this year, this October, it's going to be in Avignon, France. Now, the program, as I said, there's a curriculum to help you vision what you want to experience. There is a part that helps you shift your mindset from the kind of person who may not be so confident that it's possible for them to somebody who believes it beyond a shadow of a doubt, and also gives tools to plan and prepare for your move, what you need to shut down in your current country, what you need to stand up in your current country, and go from there, right? So that is the program, and that is who it's for. Now, it's not for somebody whose motivations might be different, right? I have different things to offer those people. If your primary motivation is cost of living, or your primary motivation is politics, then this program is not for you. Now, if it is for you, if it feels like, oh yeah, that sounds amazing, Patricia, sign me up, this is by invitation only. So there is a process to meet with me and see if you're fit for the program, and then we can get you started on the call if you are. And if it sounds like you are interested in this, if this resonates with you and you're like, yeah, that's the kind of person I am, then you can go to thecouragecatalyst.com/CEI and book your discovery session with me so that you can find out if this is a match or if there's something else that might be better for you. And we can go from there. All right. So motivation is critical, right? For anything that we do. If we're not motivated, then we're not going to do something. So having a motivation of living someplace that is more affordable or where you feel included is so important to making it happen. And those are valid reasons. So if those are your primary motivations, I have a tool called the Pathfinder that can help you first identify where you are in your move abroad process. And then from there, what steps you should be taking at that point. And I think that will be very helpful for you. So if you'd like to download that, you can go to thecouragecatalyst.com/Pathfinder and download that today. Now, that is all I have for you today. I hope that you have learned a little bit about me and why I decided to turn my life so completely upside down to get to France. If you did, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, share it with friends, subscribe, and I will see you again next time. Bye for now.